Hello everyone, I am DK Sinha and welcome to this week's US stock market weekly outlook covering macro cues, sentiments and technical charts for the S&P 500, Nasdaq 100 and even the Metaverse ETF. Let us start with the big picture. But before that, an important disclaimer. Returns in the stock market is never guaranteed. But when we do the research properly, do the analysis properly, we get an edge in the market, but risk management simply cannot be ignored. Macro recap. PMI, US ISM manufacturing PMI for the month of July came in at 48 only, still in contraction zone, signaling the factory sector weakness. Treasury yields, 2-year yield is around 3.76%, 10-year is at 4.29% and 30-year is nearly at 4.85% as investors weigh growth, inflation and higher tariffs. Jobs data. The July job report confirms slowing momentum with weaker job growth and forecast for the US GDP growth to dip to just 1% in the final 2 quarters of the year. Sentiment snapshot. Fear and greed index reads currently 59, which means it is in the greed zone versus 56 last week. VIX, the volatility index, down 25.6% to only 15.15, below 50-day moving average, signaling low volatility in the market. Put call ratio, 5-day average, reads currently at 0.7, leaning bullish. Momentum. S&P 500 is well above 125-day moving average, so strong momentum in the US stock market. Market performance continent-wise. Let us talk about the US market first. S&P 500 was higher by 2.43% on a week-on-week basis. Nasdaq 100 jumped by 3.73%, outperforming the S&P 500 index. Dow Jones was up by 1.35%, while Roundhill Ball Metaverse ETF was up by 4.12%. Now let us look at Europe. FTSE 100 up by 0.3%, quite a marginal jump. DAX of Germany up by 3.15%. If you look at the Asian stock markets, Japanese Nikkei 225 was up by 2.5%. Hang Seng was up by 1.43% and India's Nifty 50 was down by 0.82%. Strong gains in US tech and growth stocks led the week, while the Europe saw the mixed kind of action with Germany outperforming. In Asia, Japan's Nikkei 225 and Hong Kong's Hang Seng rose, but India's Nifty 50 saw a mild dip. Technical charts. With that global performance snapshot in mind, let us dive into the technicals, starting with S&P 500, then we will do for Nasdaq 100 and do the price action analysis for Metaverse ETF. This is the weekly price chart of S&P 500 index. In this week, it finally closed at 6,389.54 and thus it was bullish by 2.43% on week-on-week basis. Now look at the price action. It was a major correction over here. It was nearly, if you see the from the recent peak to the low, it is more than 20%, slightly more than 20%. So practically speaking, by definition, it entered into a bear market for a very short while, but it sharply recovered. And if you see here the price structure, it's a V-shaped recovery, which is not considered to be healthy recovery. But it has consolidated for a few weeks before it gave a breakout. So if we draw this neckline, it is nothing but the continuation chart pattern of cup and handle kind of chart pattern with respect to the prior bullish run. Now, if you look at this particular trend line, price has taken resistance here, once again, and multiple resistance point. So this trend line has indicated that this is acting as a dynamic resistance. Will S&P 500 follow this like this? Possibly, yes, it is possible, because ultimately, if you look at the price action, a historical price action, this is the price has taken support here, taken support here, taken support here, taken support here. Some kind of broadening structure is under formation. So this is a possibility. Number two, what has happened, if you see the last week's candle, it is a kind of inside bar kind of candlestick pattern, which itself indicates the lack of downside momentum. Moreover, if you do the retracement analysis of prior impulsive wave, price is bouncing from the critical support level of 38.2% retracement level. So on the basis of the technical analysis and price action, this zone is a very good demand area. Here the resistance existed, which level comes at around 6,100, and this is where the price never broke down for several weeks, as the level is 6,200. So 6,100 to 6,200 is a good demand area in S&P 500 index. Now we are referring to the daily price chart of S&P 500. Market structure is nice, higher highs and higher lows kind of market structure. Here EMA 55 crossed over SMA 200 and SMA 144. So there is a golden cross as well on the chart of S&P 500. Market structure is looking good. During the last trading session of this week, there is a formation of nearly bullish kicker kind of candlestick pattern. And the demand area that we discussed in the weekly price chart is also can be considered to be a good support area or demand area, because there is an intervention of EMA 55. This is the weekly price chart of Nasdaq 100, which finally closed this week at 23,611.27, and thus it was bullish by 3.73% on week basis, outperforming the broader US stock market S&P 500. Now, what is important is, if you see the candlestick pattern, this week candle is nothing but one white soldier candlestick pattern, which is pretty powerful candlestick pattern. Prior trend is bullish, and there was a greater dip over here, and then sharp recovery. It consolidated for 2 weeks, and then there was a breakout. So this area of resistance now after a breakout will act as a support. So 22,100 is a good support considering the price action. If you see here, similar retracement analysis can be done. So this area becomes a good support at 22,500. So this is the major demand area in Nasdaq 100. Now we refer to the daily price chart of Nasdaq 100. Nice structure, higher highs and higher lows kind of market structure. So market structure is positive. At the same time, EMA 55 has crossed over SMA 144, and before that it crossed over SMA 200 and SMA 233, which means there is a golden cross as well. So these are the bullish signal in the market. If you see the price action over here in the recent time, this is EMA 21 and the price took support over here. So this zone 23,000 to 23,300 is the intermittent demand area in Nasdaq 100, which has a support, a dynamic support of EMA 21 and volume weighted moving average 21 period. This is the monthly price chart of Roundhill Ball Metaverse ETF. Soon after the launch of this ETF, it created an all-time high of $17.07, which was in November 2021. And there was a big fall over here. It coincided with the COVID period also. So the market sentiments were very bad. And then slowly it recovered with a market structure of higher highs and higher lows. And now it is trading at an all-time high, giving a breakout of a rounding bottom pattern. While there was a recovery underway in the price chart of this Metaverse ETF, there was a price action which suggests that it was trading in a rising price channel. And finally, if you see the price action, it seems to have given a breakout of this upper fiber of the rising price channel. So if we do the Fibonacci expansion analysis and project the levels on the basis of the breakout of this rounding pattern, 61.8% expansion level comes at 29.7. So overall structure is very good. If you look at the weekly price chart, we can see that there is a breakout of this rising price channel, and this was the aberration. It came down below but did not sustain, and finally, when 2 weeks of correction or consolidation, it took support on the upper fiber of the rising price channel, and now bouncing with the formation of an inside bar candlestick pattern indicating the loss of downside momentum in this ETF. So what's your view? Will US market continue its bullish run next week? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I read every one of them. If you found this analysis useful, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss my weekly updates on US markets. Learning never stops with DK Sinha.